Look at the line of scrimmage. It is chaos compressed into inches. Every Sunday, careers are tested by 300 pounds of muscle and split-second collisions. To survive in that environment for over a decade, you need to be an absolute anomaly. And that is exactly what Bobby Wagner has been. The proof is right there in the hardware. He secured a Super Bowl ring with the Seahawks, racked up all-pro honors, and anchored defenses across the league. Because of that sustained excellence, his name means absolute reliability. When fans hear Bobby Wagner, they expect a veteran who always shows up and does exactly what he is supposed to do. But the digital world operates on entirely different rules. Earlier today, feeds lit up with a bizarre claim. Bobby Wagner had supposedly changed his name. The posts spread everywhere, from casual fans to aggregator accounts in a matter of hours. It's a sharp, confusing pivot. You don't expect a player known for extreme discipline and rigid routine to suddenly trigger a chaotic rebranding mystery. So we have to ask, did a deeply established athlete actually alter his identity? Or did the internet just invent a storyline out of thin air? Within hours, the football community was scrambling for answers. Half the timeline was completely blindsided, wondering why he'd make the switch late in his career, while the other half immediately called it out as engagement bait. To settle it, you have to look for the literal seal of approval. If a player legally changes their name, it requires formal paperwork through the league office. Yet, as of right now, 0 official documents exist. His representatives haven't released a statement, and the league hasn't updated its rosters. That total void of evidence is exactly the point. A story doesn't need to be true to go viral. It just needs to move fast enough that people assume someone else fact-checked it. We can actually map how this happens. This diagram shows an information cascade. It's a network effect where a single unverified claim branches out exponentially. Usually, it starts right here at the source node with something completely harmless. An athlete might update their Instagram handle or launch a new personal brand. Or it begins offline. A random locker room nickname leaks out into a podcast, and fans misinterpret it as a literal legal name change. Then the sports blogs get a hold of it. To maximize clicks, they strip away the original context and package it as breaking news. Once all those factors merge, the algorithm takes over. You see a claim repeated thousands of times, and your brain assumes that sheer volume equals truth. Our digital sports ecosystem is built for speed, not accuracy. Ambiguity gets weaponized into headlines before the facts even put their cleats on. So let's ground this back in reality. Right now, the idea that Bobby Wagner has changed his name is purely internet speculation. The best defense against this noise is a hard stop. Instead of endlessly scrolling, you pause and look for a definitive primary source. Online gossip vanishes as quickly as it appears, buried by whatever trends tomorrow. But an actual, documented athletic career is permanent. Believing a random post without checking the source highlights a serious vulnerability. It shows how easily an avalanche of digital noise can obscure plain facts. Which brings us back to where this conversation actually matters, the field. Bobby Wagner built his identity on thousands of perfectly executed tackles, defensive adjustments, and locker room leadership. You cannot rebrand those traits with a trending hashtag. Even if this all stems from an upcoming business venture or an inside joke that got out of hand, his historical footprint is completely unaffected. A player's true value is forged through years of consistent, measurable action, and that makes it entirely immune to the fleeting distractions of the modern rumor mill.